a family from Denmark that like travel and adventure. My name is Andrew, I'm English and I've been living in Denmark since 2001.
My name is Mette, I'm Danish.
My name is Jamie. I was born in Peru. My mom and dad adopted me when I was 2 years old. I was 11 years old on the trip.
As a family we've hiked and cycled for many years. In 2016 we cycled through Sweden and Finland, and then in 2017 we cycled through the interior of Iceland. In 2018 we set off on our biggest adventure so far. It's a trip we've talked about making for many years. So we decided to give it a go while we had the chance. We didn't want it to be something we regretted not doing later in life. But you may be thinking, why did you decide to go on your bikes? In our opinion, the best way to get to know a country is to cycle through it. The bikes give us the opportunity to cycle on smaller roads and meet new people everywhere we stop. And the best of all is that food just tastes great after a day on the bikes. Our basic plan was to start in Croatia and then cycle to Greece. After that we would then head east, but we never really had a final destination in mind. It was the journey itself and the daily adventure we were interested in. Before we set off, people would ask us, where are you going? Just for fun we would say India or Thailand, but we never really knew. There were several reasons why we decided to start in Croatia. For one, Europe was still covered in snow, and we'd also seen Germany many times before. We also wanted to make a good start, so we would arrive in most countries in the best weather conditions. You ready to go?
Yes.
You ready to go, Jamie?
Yes.
See, the world is that way, see the arrow?
Let's go biking.com.
Yeah, let's go biking, yeah.
Let's see what's down the road.
Allow me to show you something.
The first leg of the tour would take us from Zadar in Croatia to Athens in Greece, mainly following the coast. Then we arrived in Albania, and this is where the adventure started. This was the first time we met so many warm and friendly people. Albania turned out to be a positive experience and prepared us for the countries that lay ahead. Next was Greece, and all of a sudden it felt like we were closer to home again. And after a nice Easter holiday in Athens, it was time to sail to Turkey. We had never been to Turkey before, and all we knew was that it was highly rated by other touring cyclists. We cycled straight through the middle, 2,000 kilometers in 47 days. So it didn't take long to see that the warmth and friendliness we had heard about was actually true.
Okay, the man here was really kind. The man come over to us and would say, would you have some oranges?
Between Bosnia and Turkey, we encountered dogs everywhere. Some of them that were protecting a property were quite aggressive, and they would chase us down the road.
I had to stop the filming quick because those huge dogs came running out.
Others thought it was their job to protect us and keep guard outside the tent. Some even wanted to be part of the team and followed us down the road.
Finished with Turkey.
We did
it! Hip hip hooray!
In Armenia we now had a tight schedule to get to the Iranian border. 4 mountains at 2,000 meters in altitude that we had to cross in 8 days.
biking up there, sweating and thinking, is this really worth it? But then a lorry driver pulls over, gives me a big bag of fruit. It's not the thing that we can't buy it ourselves, it's just kindness that just then cheers you up again and think, oh, maybe it is worth it.
Armenia was beautiful, and also the last green country we would see for a long time.
This is absolutely really tough going this. You know? Whoa, one of you! You did it!
Finally, we got our first view of Iran.
Just do it because you need to say to yourself, keep going. Keep going.
On an adventure like this, it's the simple things you appreciate, like an unexpected coffee stop.
I invited him for coffee here.
So cute, I said, go fake.
Okay, we have to follow this river now. This is actually the border between Iran and Armenia. Oh.
Hello, Melka.
Oh.
Iran was the country I wanted to visit most of all, but it nearly never happened due to problems getting my visa. Because I am a British citizen, the only way I could enter was with a guide. So instead of cycling, our trip to Iran became a 10-day holiday visiting the sites. And it was worth all the hassle with my visa. Iran and its people were just beautiful. We then continued east, heading for the border of Turkmenistan, and crossed the desert of Turkmenistan towards the border of Uzbekistan.
Okay, we are back on the bikes, finally.
We are in Uzbekistan now.
Due to the heat, we now needed a new cycling strategy. So we would set off at 5 o'clock in the morning and cycle till around lunchtime. It was now over 40 degrees in the afternoon. Even though the roads were flat and uninteresting, Uzbekistan was full of friendly people. After the flat plains of Uzbekistan, it was now time for some adventure with the huge wild mountains of Kyrgyzstan. On a trip like this, you have an enormous freedom, but you have to get used to not knowing where you are going to sleep each night and when you are going to find water. You have to learn to relax and trust that it will work out in the end.
My lungs need to work today because today we are going up to 3,350.
I think the top is within sight. Who would have believed that was possible this morning?
It's only down, down, or never, down, down.
3,346
Whoa, well done.
It's only down, down, or never,
How is that possible?
Can you believe it now?
Even though Meda had achieved cycling through the mountains of Kyrgyzstan, during the past month she had slowly been losing her motivation to keep cycling. So we decided to take some time off the bikes.
Okay, so welcome to Old Billy.
We decided to spend 6 weeks off the bikes, and then Meda would return to Denmark. We used our time in India to visit the attractions and tried living life as backpackers. We then finished our time off the bikes by spending a week in Nepal and hiking in the Himalayas. So once again, we were back on the bikes, now in Southeast Asia. At first I was concerned about the large amount of traffic I had read about, But in reality, it was mostly slow moving scooters and didn't really cause us any problems at all. We then crossed the border to Cambodia by riverboat, arriving in the beautiful city of Phnom Penh. And it didn't take us long to see why Cambodia is known as the Wild West of Southeast Asia.
Hello! Okay, slight problem, the road should go through there. Looks like the bridge is missing.
This is how they are doing the job.
This is the solution for the next river. Luckily a guy turned up here.
Okay, I just eaten a bit of snake meat. So that was very strange to taste. And
All of a sudden, everything just became easy. We could cycle on good roads near the coast all day, and then finish the day by relaxing on the beach. Around the early part of December, we finally decided where and when the tour would end. Our final destination would be Krabi, and then we would fly home from Phuket.
Wow, look at that. Oh, okay. We are here.
Our bikes were then packed in boxes, and then we flew home in one day over the ground that had taken us 10 months to cover on the bikes. But of course the experience in the air was nothing compared to what we'd experienced on the ground. Our plan now was to put our warm jackets on and cycle across Denmark so Jamie could see his school friends on the last day of term. And that was it. What felt like an eternity of time in the beginning had now flashed by, but we would all be left with memories that would last 10 lifetimes. If you are thinking of completing a similar trip, my advice is to prepare well and set off. Enjoy each day and see where the road leads you.